What is in your child's backpack when they head off to school? Reports have surfaced of a torrent of dangerous weapons flooding into the nation's schools, with teachers having to confiscate a number of objects that could be used to inflict harm. The daunting problem of school safety is a top priority for the Ministry of Education, which is concerned about the evolving nature of the complex issue.
We have intercepted weapons at some of our schools, not in the quantum that would cause any great alarm, but of course we are concerned. One weapon in any one school is too many.
Minister for Education Shawn Edward admits the schools are a microcosm of society, with the island now confronted by a notable upswing in violent crime, which shot up dramatically at the turn of 2017. But the department is not engaging in the customary hand-wringing of disconsolation, but is working proactively with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on shoring up school safety during and after school hours. Edward says the ministry has even contracted the services of a security expert.
A contract has been written up, an individual has been engaged, and it's just a matter of days before he's on the ground interfacing with principals, with teachers, students, parents, and all stakeholders with a view to beefing up school security as we know it.
Student pat-downs and searches, can that be expected?
Well, I am not at liberty to disclose precisely what will be done, but let me let you know, and by extension the people of St. Lucia, that we will spend no effort in ensuring that whatever measures that we have to resort to, we will resort to, providing that those are within the ambit of the law. The Education Act is the piece of legislation that governs what happens in schools, but we also have other pieces of legislation on our books as a country that would so empower law enforcement personnel to make certain interventions if those are required. This is not an attempt to just arrest school children and to prosecute school children.
The minister says the education sector prefers to discipline deviant students through remedial and rehabilitative methods, with the long arm of the law the last resort. But make no mistake, Edward made it clear that officials would not hesitate to employ drastic measures of enforcement to ensure public safety. So is the microcosm of society, where positive male role models are hard to come by, now symptomatic of maladies that now ail the education sector.
In quite a few cases, students come from dysfunctional homes where there isn't a father figure. So there really isn't anyone they can emulate. There are students who are able to go through that kind of family structure, that kind of family setting, and do well for themselves. And you have to applaud them, the tenacity, the determination, the courage that they show at a young age. But the ideal would be to have father figures in the homes. And in cases where fathers are not available, the school, which is the other big agent of socialization for most children, you would want for a father figure to be there, that male person that a child can look up to, particularly boys, and want to emulate. I can tell you, I remember my experiences as a primary school child. I looked up to my teacher. My teacher was the best person there was on earth. And even when I taught, I can recall the reverential type disposition that children had towards me as their teacher. And I think we are at a stage where consideration has to be given to that. There's no policy that informs it, but it is something that we have to look at very critically when we embark on our recruitment drive for teachers, to ensure that there's a nice mix of male and female personnel at the school level who would posture as models for our children to emulate.
The education minister nonetheless believes cooperation and collaboration among institutions, stakeholders, and the pillars of society can turn things around in what appears to be a Herculean but not insurmountable challenge for the education sector. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.